All right, today we're going to talk about the 3 major mental battles when recovering from injury or chronic pain and how you can deal with them. Injury recovery isn't just ice packs and physical therapy, obviously. A lot of real work happens in your mind.
Are you sure you're okay, dude?
No, I start thinking, and it makes me so angry.
So we'll dive into the 3 major overlooked mental battles that happen throughout injury recovery and what to do about them. So number 1 is fear of re-injury, which is extremely common. When you're coming back from injury, your brain's alarm system is on high alert. Every moment feels risky, and the fear starts to really feel like truth within your head. But in reality, fear doesn't always mean danger. It just means that your brain is trying to protect you, and for good reason. But the goal really is to get curious about it and observe it. And as Adam Grant says, thoughts and emotions are really just possibilities to ponder and not facts to accept. We don't always have to invite them in, but we certainly are able to decide who deserves to stay. I think that's an extremely helpful insight from Adam Grant, because really it's all about observing those thoughts and not letting them get a hold of you.
Coach, I'd like to tackle him right now, please.
Not yet.
And so here are 5 tools to really help you deal with that fear of re-injury. So number 1 is thought diffusion. And so what is it? It's really creating distance between you and your thoughts and really trying to observe the thinker and observe your mind and not to get absorbed by the thought and not let it run wild and bring emotion into the equation. And so why it works? It really adds separation between you and your thoughts. And for example, you could try a thought on a cloud technique, which is really pretty simple, and it's visualizing your thought like it's floating away on a cloud or floating downstream on a leaf. You're not necessarily stopping the thought, you're just letting it pass by, observing it and letting it pass. Another great technique to try is I'm having the thought that. So instead of saying I will never recover or something similar, you could say I'm having the thought that I will never recover. So you're not thought, you're just simply observing it and simply noticing it. Adding the saying I'm having the thought that can really help you detach and be able to observe it more effectively. And the second tool in addition to thought diffusion is progress tracking. And it's fairly simple, and you've probably tried it before, but it's really logging your wins and your setbacks. So the physical, mental, and emotional setbacks and wins. And why it works is it really shifts your focus from I messed up or I'm falling behind to really look at how far I've come. And a tool to try within this is to use a journal to track those events and to track even the smallest wins, the confidence boosts, movement milestones, and insights from even hard days. So jotting them down in a journal can be very beneficial. And the third tool to really help deal with fear of re-injury is visualization or mental rehearsal. We have a separate video on visualization, but we'll look at some of the key points and highlights here. So what is visualization? And really it's just mentally rehearsing things that give you pause. So if running, lifting, walking upstairs, if those things previously hurt or a particular movement brings you a little bit of fear, you can try visualization to overcome those.
Alrighty then.
And why visualization works is actually pretty cool, because your brain lights up the same neural pathways when visualizing something as it does when you're actually doing it. So you can really start to feel more confident and stronger before you even try it in real life, because your brain says and learns this is safe to try. So a specific way to try visualization is to close your eyes and envision the movement going very well. The key is to be specific and try to see yourself strong, steady, and capable, and be specific about the exercise that you're trying to visualize. Another great tool to combat fear of re-injury are peer stories and communities. So these are really just hearing from other people who've been there.
What's the matter with you? We never discuss Mr. Vidi's health outside the family. You know better than that.
And they really work because you stop feeling so isolated, you don't feel as alone, and you start to really see what's possible. This really enables you to start seeing a light at the end of the tunnel and really know that there's other people going through difficult things and you can help each other out with unique insight. So various things to try within this tool are tune into recovery podcasts, support groups. Obviously our Bounce Back app is specifically designed for that, or really just to follow someone on a similar path, whether that's on Reddit or Facebook groups, but really to get involved in those online communities with other people going through it can be really helpful. So the last element to really help combat fear of re-injury is graded exposure. Now this one's a little bit more physical than it is on the mental side, but what it is really taking small steps towards getting those movements back and getting your confidence back without pause. So why does graded exposure work? It really works well in combination with visualization. It helps your body and mind learn that these exercises and these movements are safe to try again. And you really work back in with various things like ladders that your PT can guide you through, but going from walking to jogging to plyometrics to sprinting, all combined with using mental rehearsal to visualize those exercises, make your mind and body know that they're safe, and then kind of execute them in real life are extremely helpful and potent tools when bouncing back from injury.
Give me 2.
So looking at the second major mental battle that's largely overlooked throughout injury recovery, and that's the loss of identity.
Who am I? I don't know.
And this is extremely common because injuries can really shake up your sense of self, especially if your identity is wrapped up in how your body performs. And this obviously applies to athletes, but it goes well beyond athletes, and it really includes anybody that has a physical job or if their hobbies are physical in nature. If running, lifting, golfing with friends, or playing recreational sports.
Raindrops! Old school! T, come on. I'm burning. My lungs are burning.
If you're not able to do those things, this can really impact you mentally and have a huge mental toll. And so here are 5 tools to really help combat that identity crisis as you go through injury recovery. The first one is cognitive reframing. So what is that? It's really flipping your perspective. So why it works. You can go from I'm broken or I'm failing to instead I'm really learning patience or I'm learning resilience throughout this process. And tools to try within that are really to try and write down one negative belief throughout your day and reframe it into something empowering or positive. This is certainly something that helped me along the way. And another great tool is identity expansion. And so what is that? It's really rediscovering who you are beyond your body. And why that works, obviously injuries don't erase your identity. They really just reveal the parts that you've leaned on the most. And so a great tool to try here is to really list 5 traits or roles that have nothing to do with movement or your physical body, really.
Weakness? Cake.
Yes, cake is my weakness, along with speed and strength. Strength is my weakness.
Another great tool to help combat loss of identity is narrative writing. And so what is this? It's really telling your own story honestly. It's a little bit similar to expressive writing that we've touched on in other videos, but just a little bit with a different spin. And why narrative writing really works is because you're not just surviving this injury recovery journey, you're really authoring it. And so putting it into your own words and describing it and how it affects you can be extremely beneficial and can help you see things that you didn't previously notice. One example of a tool to try within narrative writing is to write from the perspective of future me, who's already learned lessons and already grown from this experience. And you can write down what did they learn or what do you expect to learn. So another great tool that we touched on when combating fear of re-injury is connecting with others. But it obviously applies here as far as combating loss of identity because many other people have been through that before. And it is really just basically talking to people who've gone through similar things and understand that isolation and can give tips and firsthand insights that are hard to find. So a few examples of great communities to join, obviously the Bounce Back app, we created it to connect people with similar injuries to share those unique insights. Reddit threads, Facebook groups, even local rec centers or local communities can be great communities to join as tons of people have dealt with injuries and can show you firsthand insight from their experiences. So looking at the last tool under loss of identity throughout an injury is really looking at values clarification. So what does that mean really? It's really trying to get a clearer picture of what really matters to you, no matter what physical state you are in. And why this tool works great is because obviously you can still live with purpose even if your routines have to change or if your lifestyle has to be adjusted slightly. A great tool to try within that is to pick 3 to 5 core values that you think embody yourself. You know, things like courage, discipline, compassion, authenticity, or service. And really to maybe try one small way to live each one of those throughout the coming weeks.
What are some of your likes?
Ghouls.
Son of a bitch. What are you talking about now?
Funny little green ghouls.
What? Like in movies and cartoons?
Little green ghouls, buddy.
Don't write ghouls.
I'm not.
And so looking at the third of the 3 major mental battles that are often overlooked throughout injury recovery, and that's really navigating the emotional roller coaster. Obviously, some days you'll feel super motivated and others you won't even feel like getting out of bed. So here are 3 tips to really try to deal with navigating those emotions and the frustrations throughout injury recovery. The first one is called emotional labeling. And so what is it? It's really naming your emotion without judgment. The feeling wheel is a great way to identify the emotions that you're feeling and the different layers that each emotion has within it. You may be thinking you're frustrated, but it might actually be a different emotion.
I'm in a glass case of emotion!
So peeking at that feeling wheel is a great way to kind of identify that. And why this works is because studies have really shown that looking at and labeling these emotions can really help reduce the intensity and help build control over them. The second tool to try under navigating the emotional roller coaster is really to expect the highs and lows and really to ride that emotional wave. We know that recovery isn't linear, and so why this works is when you're expecting setbacks, they don't feel as much like failures and they don't have that power to overwhelm you as much. And a great tool throughout injury recovery and expecting those setbacks is to really try and build in a little bit of space and flexibility to deal with that roller coaster and make it a little bit more manageable. So for example, if you were dead set on getting off crutches at 3 weeks, but really you need 5 or 6, you're kind of setting yourself up for a little bit of disappointment. So work in that mental flexibility. So the last tool in dealing with that emotional roller coaster is really the daily check-in. And so what is it? It's really a quick daily journal or note, really just to process and note your mood. And so why this works, it really helps to build in emotional resilience in small, doable ways throughout the days and weeks. One example to try when doing your notes or journaling is a specific specific prompt, like for example, today I felt like blank because of blank. One thing I can do to support myself is blank. So to fill in that example, it could be something like, today I felt frustrated because my progress feels slower than I expected. One thing I can do to support myself is celebrate one small win from this week and really remind myself that healing isn't linear. So that's a great example of a tool or prompt to give a shot.
Cool story, Hansel.
So in summary, obviously injury recovery is much more than just healing your body alone. It's about navigating the fear, rediscovering yourself, and really navigating those frustrating emotions and the roller coaster that comes with that. So as always, put in the comments if there's anything that has helped you along your way or any questions that you may have throughout your journey. And if this was helpful, please hit that subscribe button and we'll see you in the next one.